Hi, Steve from Steve M Outdoors, and today I've got a video not on the usual subject. Today we're going to be discussing YouTube, specifically YouTube and its relationship to firearms channels. So as you may be aware, if you pay attention to that sort of thing, YouTube has become rather unfriendly to firearms channels in recent years. Last year, of course, we saw Adpocalypse, which saw a lot of firearms channels basically stripped of most of their ad revenue. And not just firearms websites, but anybody that YouTube and its parent company, Google, deemed it to be undesirables, for the lack of a better word. And that generally tended to be right of center channels, or at least channels perceived to be right of center. Part and parcel to that, they also banned a couple of channels, such as the famous Hickok 45 incident, which saw him disappear from YouTube for, I think it was a couple of weeks before he was finally reinstated. Other websites, or channels, of course, are still persona non grata on YouTube. So, recently, YouTube took another shot at firearms channels, and they released policies on content featuring firearms. I'm going to post it right now so you can read along with me. So YouTube prohibits certain kinds of content featuring firearms. Specifically, we don't allow content that intends to sell firearms or firearms accessories, or links to sites that sell those items. Now, those accessories, which have drawn YouTube's ire, may not be limited to accessories that enable firearm to simulate automatic fire or convert a firearm to automatic fire, such as bump stocks, Gatling triggers, auto drop-in sears and conversion kits, and high-capacity magazines. That is, magazines or belts which carry more than 30 rounds. Additionally, YouTube doesn't like people providing instructions on manufacturing firearms, ammunition, high-capacity magazines, homemade silencers and suppressors, or certain firearms accessories such as those listed above. This also includes instructions on how to convert a firearm to automatic or simulated automatic firing capabilities. Finally, YouTube says they don't want us to show users how to install the above mentioned accessories or modifications. So what does that mean? Well, no one knows. Like most things, it comes down to interpretation. So let's go through this one by one. Intending to sell firearms or certain firearm accessories through to direct sales. Well, okay, that's probably fairly obvious, although it's a little wishy-washy with these accessories include but may not be limited to. Basically, anything that converts what the public would perceive as firearms that can fire more than the average person can do by pulling a trigger with their finger. So bump stocks, which as far as I know are still legal until the ATF changes its mind again. Gatling triggers, sears, conversion kits, and high capacity magazines. It's the second one, though, that I think is giving a lot of people pause. That is, provides instructions on manufacturing a firearm, ammunition, high-capacity magazine, silencers or suppressors, and the accessories that were mentioned above. What that means is open to interpretation. Is manufacturing a firearm showing someone how to build an AR-15 out of parts? That's, common in the United States amongst firearms enthusiasts. Or is it something that In Range is doing with their ongoing What Would Stoner Do series, where they actually have engaged in, what you could consider to be gunsmithing by, installing new barrels on their build, that sort of thing. Ammunition. What does that mean? Manufacturing ammunition. There are a lot of channels out there that are dedicated to reloading. Johnny's Reloading Bench, Gavin Tube, more than I could probably name. Is reloading considered manufacturing ammunition? I would argue that if you were to follow this, that yes, reloading is in fact manufacturing ammunition. The other ones, high-capacity magazines, homemade silencers and suppressors. These are illegal to begin with, at least the suppressor silencer aspect, because you do need the NFA stamp in the United States, and up here in Canada, those are just simply prohibited. and instructions on how to convert a firearm to automatic or simulated automatic firing capabilities. Converting a firearm to automatic, as far as I know, is illegal in the United States because they have to be registered, and that's been closed for a while. And simulated automatic firing, well, I assume they're referring to the bump stock. So what does that mean for this channel? For the most part, I don't think I'm going to be affected. Most of my videos are on the historical firearms. Just basically giving you the history of, military surplus rifles. It does, however, impact some future plans that I had for this channel, which was a series of videos on reloading. Basically, everything from the beginner, how do you reload, what do you need, the basics, and I was hoping to go to advanced levels of reloading, which was, trying to squeeze out every last bit of accuracy. So there will be possibly an impact to me if YouTube decides that manufacturing ammunition and reloading ammunition are the same thing. And to be honest with you, reading this policy, I can't see how that they wouldn't actually consider the two the same thing. So what's our next step as gun channels on YouTube? Last week In Range, led in part by Carl Casarda, kind of did a funny thing of registering themselves on Pornhub in order to be able to have an alternate venue for their videos. And apparently their videos have already gotten 21,000 views, so it seems to be working. And I guess while you're at Pornhub, you could also go see what Stormy Daniels was up to before, she met the current president. The problem is, though, is that YouTube is basically the go-to for videos on the internet. A website like Full30 is invitation only, and they're really only interested in the biggest YouTube channels. That they have no time for people like me, even people like GavinTube, which is a fairly reputable and well-known YouTube chronicler of his reloading adventures. I doubt that he would make the cut for Full30. It does seem to be, the bigger YouTube channels. And other platforms like Vimeo and, the 100 other that I can't even begin to recall at the moment. Also I don't know how viable they are. If there is a mass migration of gun channels to other platforms, I don't know what in reality they would actually accomplish other than probably reducing the size of their audience. And, Facebook, their politics certainly seem to be unfriendly to ours. So, you could load up all your videos onto Facebook and then tomorrow they could decide, sorry, no gun videos. They've already done a lot of the same things that YouTube has done by banning certain types of activities, such as the sale of firearms, which used to be quite a thing on Facebook for both Canadians and Americans. There were plenty of groups dedicated to, private sales. All of that said, Steve M Outdoors isn't going anywhere. I'm going to continue doing my videos on the history of firearms. I'm still going to do videos on firearm issues in general. I'm still going to do the fishing videos, the hunting videos, the reloading videos. I'm going to do them. Whether they survive YouTube's purge, maybe another thing. All of that said, what can you do as a viewer? Well, you know what? Subscribing to these gun channels, if you enjoy them and you haven't done so already, is an excellent idea. That sends a message to YouTube that they are popular. Whether they take that popularity into account is another matter, but it is something, spreading the word about these channels to, fellow gunnies who are interested in the topic, and, not being afraid to go to other alternative venues such as Vimeo, Full30, in order to watch these videos. Carl Casarda from In Range has made any number of videos about decentralizing the internet, getting away from the Googles, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, those big concentrations of, for the lack of a better word, power, and putting their videos anywhere they can possibly can. That may work in the long run. In the short term, however, I think this will obviously hurt us. So, like I said, what you can do, subscribe to these channels, you know, show your support with Patreon, you know, for the ones who, you know, are asking for their expenses to be covered to some degree. Sharing the videos, visiting the alternative venues, you know, if it comes to that. That's really about it. YouTube apparently has decided that we're undesirables, and the writing is on the wall. I think that at a certain point, you know, they are going to be getting rid of a lot of firearms related content on their channels. And like I said, for me personally, I don't think this is going to have a huge impact, but it does impact some of the future plans that I had. So, you know, you may or may not see a series on reloading from me down the road. At any rate, that's all that I had to say today. I just wanted to make you aware of these policies, just in case some of your favorite channels started disappearing or videos started disappearing that, you know you've seen in the past. You know, show your support, do what you can, help out these channels, you know, when they request it. If you enjoy their content, they certainly do deserve it. At any rate, that's about all I got for today. As always, if you like what you see, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, share the video, click on the notification icon so that, you know, you're notified of future videos. And happy shooting, safe shooting.